Afghanistan and in the southern desert of Libya.
Looks like he's
From
working
these
on
two
his car.
locations, it is Afghanistan that is seeing most activity, and they are also expanding to neighboring countries like Pakistan, Iran, even India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Tajikistan, and therefore there is a new hub in the making in Afghanistan, but it remains very small in scale compared to what ISIS used to have in Syria and Iraq.
Last thing, the relationship between ISIS and Al-Qaeda, which in these last several years has been a fierce rivalry. Does the death of Baghdadi open the door in any way to some kind of rapprochement?
The death of Baghdadi came while he was being hosted by hardline Al-Qaeda groups in Syria. Although the two groups had fought politically over power, ultimately Al-Qaeda and ISIS share exactly the same ideology, and the death of Baghdadi is likely to turn some of the groups that had flown the ISIS flag more towards Al-Qaeda, and in a way, both groups might feel that the best way is to consolidate rather than compete with one another going forward.
Is there any way to read that as other than bad news? A possible consolidation of Al-Qaeda and ISIS?
Unfortunately, there is bad news ahead, but the good news is that these groups do not have the capacity that they once had or the ideological sway, especially that a lot of people who had been perhaps fooled by the ISIS utopia, once they actually lived under ISIS control, realized how horrific this group is, and it is not something they would want to go back to live under.
Lena Khatib, she's head of the Middle East and North Africa program at Chatham House in London. Thank you.
Thank you.
23 Democratic senators want the nation's most powerful consumer protection agency to launch an investigation. In a letter, they ask the agency's director to immediately look into mismanagement at a loan servicer that handles student debt. NPR's Chris Arnold has obtained a letter and joins us now. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Ari.
What is in the letter?
Well, at the heart of all the stuff that's in the letter is a federal program to forgive student loan debt for public service workers. And this program, by any measure, is not working. The way it's supposed to work, it's pretty simple. If you're a police officer, you're in the military, you work for a nonprofit, if you make payments for 10 years, the remainder of your student loan debt is supposed to be forgiven. The problem is, the devil's in the details. It's more complicated than it sounds, and a lot of people think they did this the right way, and then they get rejected. Here's Senator Sherrod Brown, who spoke to NPR today after he sent this letter with 22 other senators.
There are far too many people who expected to be part of this loan forgiveness, and they find out in their 8th or 9th year that they're not eligible, and that's just outrageous.
We should say, too, various government watchdog outfits have filed scathing reports about this. With one number to keep in your head, only 1% of people are getting approved.
What does this have to do with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and the loan servicer that is mentioned in the letter?
Well, we did a story recently and found out that the Consumer Protection Bureau had sent
You still have that grill in Mary's car?
Companies.
Do you need it anymore right now?
No, not now. I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah, I think you should.
The Consumer Bureau's job,
I just left
to
it there
protect
for the
consumers
week
in these
so that I could ensure that I
borrowers.
didn't have
But
to
it turns out that there's
that
a
was
turf
fine. I'm
war
just
going
saying.
on
have a problem.
between the Bureau and the Department of
And we
Education.
might want to get the generator box out
Majority of student
and
loans.
the
And this turf war
chainsaw
got in the
in.
way of those examiners from the Consumer Protection Bureau finding
Give me
much of
that
anything
booger
out.
Give me that
And the
booger
message from
butt
the
boy.
senators is hey,
Give me
look,
that
Consumer Protection
little
Bureau